This isn't your stage, girl. Claire Montague snapped, her voice a venomous hiss as she shoved a stack of rejection letters into Nia Carter's arms, her white-gloved hands trembling with disdain. Shred them and stay invisible. That's all your kind's good for. Nia clutched the papers, her dark fingers brushing the hidden script in her pocket, her lips curling into a faint, defiant smile. She wasn't just the black mailroom intern Claire despised. She was the daughter of Montague Media's lost founder, and the stage was about to turn. Nia Carter, 23, had grown up in the shadow of a man she barely knew, Malcolm Carter, a black visionary whose voice once boomed across Atlanta's airwaves, turning a basement radio show into Montague Media, a $200 million empire of film and television by the late 90s. She remembered his laugh, warm as summer asphalt, from tapes her mother, Denise, played in their crumbling West End apartment, tales of a man who defied a world that spat on his skin. But he vanished when she was 8, after a furious row with his white business partner, Victor Pierce, leaving Denise a hollow shell and Nia with a single relic, a handwritten script, Echoes of Us, about a black girl fighting to be heard in a world that drowned her out. Denise remarried Evelyn Pierce, Victor's widow, a steely white woman with ice-blue eyes who seized Montague Media, erasing Malcolm's name like chalk in rain. Nia, armed with a film studies degree from Spelman College, slipped into the company as a mailroom intern under a fake name, Nia Evans. Her mission a quiet inferno, uncover her father's fate and resurrect his legacy. Her first day was a gut punch. The Montague Media Tower loomed over downtown Atlanta, its glass walls glinting like a cruel promise, but inside, it was a fortress of white privilege. Claire Montague, 40, the creative director, ruled the 20th floor with a tyrant strut, platinum curls pinned tight, tailored suits sharp as her tongue, green eyes that sliced through anyone who dared breathe wrong. She spotted Nia instantly, a black girl in a faded blazer amid a sea of white interns with Ivy League smirks and trust fund swagger. You're here to sort trash, not dream. Claire sneered, tossing her shredder bin overflowing with rejection letters, their edges curling like scorn. Nia caught it, her jaw tight, her father's script a secret weight in her pocket. Yes, ma'am, she muttered, her voice a whisper, but inside a fire flickered. Malcolm's fire, the one he'd whispered to her in dreams. They'll try to bury you, Nia. Dig out. The basement mailroom was her prison, dank, dim, reeking of mildew and ink, the hum of shredders her only hymn. Claire's barbs rained down daily. She'd storm in, heels clicking like gunfire, barking, "Faster, girl. You're slower than dirt." Once she accidentally kicked over a stack of sorted mail, smirking as Nia knelt to gather it, her knees pressing into cold concrete. Useless black clutter, Claire muttered, loud enough for the white interns, Todd Grayson, a lanky frat boy with a perpetual smirk, and Emily Wells, a prim blonde with a clipboard, to snicker for the stairwell. Nia's hand shook, her father's words a lifeline. They'll laugh, Nia. Let them. Then rise. She sorted faster, her resolve hardening into steel. She wasn't alone. Jamal Hayes, a 50-year-old black janitor with a limp from a set accident in '98, saw her spark. One night, mopping the basement, he paused, his broom scraping the floor. "You've got his eyes," he said, voice gravelly, handing her a faded photo. Malcolm laughing on a soundstage, mic in hand. "Malcolm's. I worked sound for him. Best man I knew." Nia froze, hope flaring like a match in the dark. "You knew him?" Jamal nodded, his gaze distant. "He didn't just leave, kid. They pushed him out. Victor, Evelyn, the whole damn machine." Jamal became her quiet ally, slipping her old files, budget sheets, memos, clues to a buried truth. "Be careful," he warned. "They'll crush you if they smell you digging." Weeks bled into months, the basement a slow bleed of humiliations. Claire's torment sharpened, her disdain a blade honed daily. During a rare staff meeting, Nia dared suggest a diversity campaign, something she'd found in her father's notes, scribbled in the margins of a budget sheet. She stood, voice trembling but clear. We could reach new audiences, black stories, real ones. Claire cut her off, her laugh sharp as shattered glass. Stick to shredding, sweetheart. Your kind doesn't create, just cleans up our messes. The room erupted. Todd's smirk widened. His nice try, ghetto girl hissed under his breath. Emily scribbled notes, feigning boredom, her lips twitching with amusement. Nia's cheeks burned, her hands clenching under the table, nails digging into her palms. She wanted to scream, "I'm his daughter, you fools," but her father's mantra held her. Wait, Nia. Wait for the moment. She sat, the fire inside smoldering, her silence a weapon. That night, alone in her cramped apartment, she sat under a buzzing lamp, staring at Malcolm's photo, his broad smile, his eyes like hers, fierce and unyielding. "I'm trying, Daddy," she whispered, tears streaking her face, dripping onto the scratched wooden table. "But they're drowning me." The loneliness clawed, her mother estranged, remarried to Evelyn, unreachable behind a wall of shame. Her past a shadow she couldn't outrun. She pulled Echoes of Us from her pocket, its pages worn from her touch, ink smudged from years of hope. Reading it, she saw herself, a girl named Maya fighting to speak, her voice a thread against the storm. "I'll make them hear you," she vowed, her voice cracking, the words a prayer to a ghost. The next day, Claire escalated. She dumped a box of shredded confetti on Nia's desk. Hours of sorted mail reduced to chaos. "Oops," she said, smirking, her green eyes glinting with petty triumph. "Start over, girl. Deadline's noon, or you're out." Nia salvaged what she could, her chest tight, her mind racing. She stayed till 3 a.m., the tower a tomb of silence, her fingers bleeding from paper cuts, her eyes gritty with exhaustion. She emailed the sorted list, subject, done. Again, and imagined Claire's scowl, her lips curling in defeat. It fueled her, a spark in the dark. Jamal slipped her a breakthrough, a memo from 2005, signed by Victor Pierce and Evelyn, cutting Malcolm's funding for a black-led TV series. "They starve him out," Jamal said, eyes dark with memory. "Then he was gone. Car crash, they said." Bullshit. Nia's pulse quickened. Her father hadn't abandoned her. He'd been erased. She dug deeper, finding a locked archive box in the basement corner, marked MC Archives. With Jamal's crowbar, she pried it open under flickering lights, dust swirling like ghosts. Inside, Echoes of Us, the original, coffee-stained and dog-eared, with a note in Malcolm's scrawl. "For Nia, my echo. Don't let them silence us." She wept, clutching it, her purpose a blade sharpened by grief. Montague Media teetered on a razor's edge. Claire's latest film, Heiress of Light, a $50 million vanity project about a white debutante finding herself, bombed spectacularly, losing $30 million in its opening weekend and 3 major investors by Monday. Evelyn raged in board meetings, her voice echoing down to the basement through steel vents. "Fix this, Claire, or we're finished. I won't lose everything." Nia overheard, sorting mail, her mind churning. She typed Echoes of Us into her laptop each night, her father's words flowing, raw, real, a black girl's triumph over a world that crushed her. She saw her chance, a lifeline in the chaos. She met Marcus Lee, a 28-year-old Asian-American junior exec, in the cafeteria, a rare oasis in the tower's cold sprawl. He'd always nodded to her, his dark eyes kind, a flicker of recognition in a sea of indifference. "You're wasted down there," he said once, sipping coffee, his tie loosened after a late night. Nia slid him the script under a pseudonym, M. Carter, claiming it was found in storage. Marcus read it overnight, eyes wide the next day. "This is gold," he said, slamming it on the table. "Raw, honest, I'm pitching it." Claire scoffed when he did, her voice dripping scorn in the boardroom. Some nobody's trash, probably stolen. But the board, desperate, greenlit it with a $5 million budget, a fraction of Claire's flop. Filming began in secret, Nia volunteering as a runner, her heart pounding as actors spoke her father's lines. Lines she'd whispered to herself for years. Claire's sabotage struck like lightning. She leaked the script to a rival studio, claiming it was plagiarized, her smirk venomous as she pitched her lie. "We're being robbed blind." The board convened, furious, rain lashing the glass walls of the 20th floor suite. Nia was summoned from the basement, her sneakers squeaking on marble, her faded blazer soaked from the storm. Claire stood, arms crossed, triumphant. She's behind it, some mailroom rat with delusions. Nia's hand shook, but she stepped forward, voice steady as stone. "It's mine. I'm Nia Carter, Malcolm's daughter." Gasps rippled. Evelyn's face drained. Todd choked on his coffee. Emily's clipboard clattered to the floor. Nia held up the original script, its stains a badge of honor, in a USB Jamal had found in a locked drawer. Malcolm's voice, recorded, detailing Victor and Evelyn's plot to frame him for embezzlement, to crash his car and call an accident. "You buried him," Nia said, staring Claire down, her eyes blazing. "But I'm his echo, and I'm louder than your lies." The room exploded into chaos. Evelyn stammered, her icy facade cracking. "Lies. She's delusional and nobody." Claire lunged, snatching the USB, her nails clawing at Nia's wrist, but Marcus grabbed it back, slamming it into a laptop. Malcolm's baritone filled the air, steady and unbroken. "They'll take it all, Nia. Victor's cutting me out. Evelyn's in on it. If I'm gone, fight for it." The board turned. Marcus revealed Claire's emails sabotaging black projects for years. Evelyn's signatures on falsified books, shifting millions to offshore accounts. Claire's curls drooped, her voice shrill. "I built this place. You can't take it." Nia met her eyes, unyielding. "No, he did. You just stole it and killed him for it." The film hit theaters, a gritty indie miracle, shot in Atlanta's backstreets, earning $20 million in its first weekend, then $100 million in a month. Critics raved. A black voice reborn, a gut punch of truth. Montague media surged, investors flooding back, the tower buzzing with life. Claire was fired, her office gutted, her awards carted out in boxes, her nameplate smashed. Evelyn resigned, fleeing to a beach house in Savannah, her reign shattered. Nia faced the board, her blazer swapped for a sharp suit, her father's script in hand. "This was his dream," she said, voice ringing. "He built it for us, for the silenced. Now it's ours." They named her creative director, her vision bold. Amplify the unheard, rebuild what was stolen. But Claire wasn't done. A week later, Nia returned to her apartment to find it trashed, Malcolm's photos torn, his tapes smashed, a note in Claire's scrawl pinned to the wall. "You'll never belong, rat." Fear gripped her breath shallow. Had she pushed too far? Jamal arrived, broom in hand, his limp heavier in the cold. "She's scared, kid. You've won. Don't let her haunt you." Marcus tracked Claire's car. She'd fled to a motel outside Macon, her venom spent, her allies gone. Nia rebuilt, taping photos back together, her resolve steel. She wrote in her journal, "They broke his things, but not me. I'm his echo, unbreakable." The next blow came from Evelyn. She sued, claiming Nia forged the evidence. Her lawyer, a slick white man named Richard Holt, grilling Nia in a deposition. "You're a fraud, Ms. Evans. No Carter blood here." Nia sat calm, producing a DNA test Jamal had urged her to take. Malcolm's match, undeniable. Holt paled. Evelyn's case collapsed, her last gasp snuffed out. "You're done," Nia said, leaving the room, her shadow long. 6 months later, the echoes of Us Gala lit up the Fox Theater, Atlanta's crown jewel. Nia stood on stage, the film projected behind her. A black girl's story, her father's, flickering across a screen that once barred his kind. The crowd roared. Jamal clapped, his limp forgotten in pride. Marcus grinned beside her, his faith rewarded. Maya, a new black intern with wide eyes, whispered, "You're my hero." Claire lingered in the back, her face hollow, clapping stiffly, her empire ash. Evelyn watched from a live stream, alone, Her beach house a prison of her making. Nia gripped the mic, tears falling. Thank you, Dad. Your echoes louder than their silence. The screen flared, Malcolm's words alive, the basement's roar unleashed. She smiled, her shadow stretching long, her father's fire burning bright. Backstage, she found a letter, Jamal's handwriting. He'd be proud, kid. You're the stage now. She pressed at her chest, her heart full. The next day, she walked the tower's basement, now a creative lab for new voices, black, brown, forgotten. Maya trailed her, notebook in hand. What's next? She asked. Nia looked at the walls, once her cage, now her canvas. Everything, she said. We echo on.